Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's Rodfather 916 coming from you almost live from California's state capital, Sacramento. And the topic today is going to be about Cullman, Alabama. Yeah, we're still talking about it. I know it's gotten old too. This will be my last video about Cullman, Alabama. This is a follow-up to someone who responded to my comment on her video page. A person in her family has lived in Cullman for the last 16 years, and she's taken to TikTok to defend her community. And this lady is a sweet lady from what I can see. You know, she wants to invite people to her home, and so with her family, so they can see maybe the softer side or the gentle side of Cullman. Cullman has a history. I did my research. There are at least 8 books that reference Cullman as a sundown town. Cullman residents. Wikipedia, it's there. And its history goes from the early 1800s. So if people in the surrounding communities and maybe around the surrounding states know your town, it's a part of history. Not a reflection of you, but it's a part of history. I believe it's Highway 65 or Highway 56, one of the two. There were signs in your community that says, "Nigger, don't let the sun go down on you." No, you weren't alive then and you didn't see it, but at one point it did exist. So let's talk about existence. For most of you who said there's no racism in your town and you've never experienced racism, understand that you're not the targeted audience. I am. Or other people of color or people with different beliefs. They are the target. So there's no way you could experience racism. You're not the target. For instance, let's say the lady who's been in Cullman 16 years, she patronized all the shops in town. Everybody's lovely to her. They're wonderful. I just moved into Cullman 6 months ago, and I go to the same establishments, businesses that she goes to, and I have an entirely different reception. Now, what's happening in the dialogue for those people who live in Cullman, you're saying that you've never seen racism and racism doesn't exist, but you want to discount my experience in your community. Understand that. That's my experience. Instead of listening to saying, this is what I've experienced in this store that you patronize. This is my experience. I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying this is my experience. I was followed around in a store. They wanted me to show 9 pieces of ID to use my credit card. That is my experience. That's not really, you shouldn't take that personally because it's my experience. See, people live in bubbles. All over the world, they live in bubbles. And a lot of these bubbles are filled with people who look like them, same color, believe as them, worship the same God or religion. And while they may interact briefly with people outside that bubble, say at work, or maybe having lunch with someone, a coworker, it's different than a friendship. With a friendship, as we get to know each other, we develop an understanding, a sensitivity that sets us apart from an acquaintance. So if all of your transactions are within that bubble, you may be uncomfortable with people outside that bubble. And that's where the problem is. Notice I've not called anybody racist. But for me, there's danger inside the bubble. I lived in a bubble for a short time. One of the wonderful things I like about Sacramento, which is not a perfect city, is it's very diverse. Where I live, there are Indians, Asian from India. We have Native Americans. We have Mexicans. We have Nicaraguans. We have black people. We have white people. And we have two Asian ladies who live in our complex. We bump heads from time to time. There are misunderstandings. Are there any different than people in the bubble having misunderstandings? Absolutely. But because we live and talk to each other, if someone says this person's racist, nobody goes, it didn't happen. That's the difference. You know, if my neighborhood, my neighbor who's Indian says these people were racist to me or they were mean to me, nobody says that didn't happen. There's the difference. I believe this festival is going to be successful. I believe that black people and other people of color will be treated very, very well. And I think the participants of that festival will go out of their way to make sure that they are respected and treated well. No one is called in for protest to your community. No one is called for the NAACP to contact the government authorities in Alabama or the United States. They're just talking about your history. So give that some thought. I hope it sinks in. But like I said, there's a reason why I don't live in a bubble. It's, for me, it's a breeding place of misinformation and stereotypes. And we're having an earthquake as I speak to you. Well, this is fun. Okay. Welcome to California. I wish everybody love, joy, peace, and happiness. And the California experience. We rarely have earthquakes in Sacramento, but I'm from San Francisco, and earthquakes are common every day. So my neighbors haven't gone screaming into the courtyard. But wishing everybody love, joy, peace, and happiness. If you want to continue this conversation, share this video with friends. And if you have comments, I'm okay with that. So I'm going to end this now before we have our next shake. Watching the water do this and the building do this. Live from Sacramento, earthquake. All right, let me turn on the news and see how strong it was. Take care. Bye now.